stop everything, right now. Wherever you are in the world, I want you to notice something. Look at the time in your country. Yes, whatever hour it is for you, this moment is exactly the moment you were meant to hear this. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or late at night, the universe brought you here right now. Now tell me, which country are you watching this from? Leave it in your mind as you listen. This is not just another video. This is about something far more important than scrolling, liking, or commenting. This is about your life, your energy, your peace, your clarity. Ask yourself, how many times have you tried to control someone else's choices only to feel drained, frustrated, or even invisible? How many times have you given your energy, your focus, and your love only to see it wasted, lost, ignored? What if I told you there's a hidden power, a quiet force, that lets you reclaim everything they tried to take from you? What if I told you that by the end of this video, you'll see why trying to control others is not strength, and why your real power has been inside you all along? Wherever you are, whatever the time, whatever is happening around you, pay attention, watch closely. Listen carefully. This is not just theory. This is the truth that will change how you live, how you think, and how you experience everyone and everything around you. By the time this video ends, you will understand how to protect your energy, reclaim your peace, and move through life with power that no one can take away. And if you ignore this, the chaos keeps winning. So, take a deep breath wherever you are. Notice the time, notice yourself. This moment is your moment. Your peace is your power. The most powerful truth you can ever understand is that your peace is your real power. When you stop trying to control what happens around you, you stop giving away your energy to things you cannot change. Every time you argue, push, or force someone to see things your way, you lose a part of yourself. But when you simply allow life to unfold, you reclaim that energy. Your calm becomes your strength. Your clarity becomes your guide. Your presence becomes a quiet force that nothing can disturb. Imagine standing by a river. The water flows around the rocks, over the stones, without fighting or forcing its way. That river is not weak. It does not try to push the rock out of the way. It simply moves forward with patience and persistence. In the same way, your mind and your heart can move through life without fighting every obstacle. When others resist you, reject you, or act in ways you do not like, it is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply their path. Your peace does not depend on their choices. When you remain calm while the world rages, you gain clarity that others cannot see. Decisions become easier, thoughts become quieter, your heart feels lighter. Peace is not the absence of challenges or difficulties. It is the ability to stay steady while challenges exist. Stillness is not emptiness. It is your strength. It is the energy that allows you to respond, not react. It allows you to live fully without being carried away by the chaos around you. The more you protect your inner peace, the stronger you become. Life will always test you, people will disappoint you, and situations will frustrate you, but nothing can take away the calm that comes from within. This calm becomes your power, your guide, and your shield. When you understand this, you begin to see life in a completely different way. You are no longer a victim of circumstances or other people's actions. You are the keeper of your own energy. And that energy, your peace, is more powerful than anything the outside world can throw at you. Letting go is strength. True strength is not in holding on. The strongest people are not those who control everything around them, but those who know when to let go. Letting go does not mean giving up or being weak. It means understanding that you cannot carry the weight of everyone else's choices, actions, or opinions. Every time you try to force someone to see your point, every time you argue, push, or resist what is, you are holding on to something that does not belong to you. That effort drains your energy, clouds your mind, and blocks your peace. Imagine holding a handful of sand tightly. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you open your hand and let it fall naturally, you are free. Letting go is like that. You release the weight, and in that release, you gain freedom. You stop carrying the unnecessary burdens of frustration, anger, and disappointment. Letting go is also an act of love, love for yourself. When you try to control someone else, you tie yourself to their struggles and their choices. But when you release them, you honor both your path and theirs. You give yourself the space to breathe, to think clearly, and to move forward without unnecessary resistance. The world around you will always try to pull you into chaos. People may resist, reject, or act in ways that hurt you. Life will not always go the way you expect, but your response does not have to be a struggle. When you learn to let go, you are no longer a prisoner of circumstance. You are free to act with clarity, to move with calm, and to make choices rooted in your own wisdom, not in fear or frustration. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you stop trying or stop loving. It means you release your attachment to outcomes and stop forcing life to conform to your expectations. In that release, you find strength deeper than anything external can give. That strength is quiet, steady, and unshakable. It allows you to face life as it is, not as you wish it would be. When you practice letting go, you realize that freedom is not found in controlling others, but in freeing yourself. You begin to understand that life flows better when you stop resisting it, and that true power comes not from holding on, but from knowing when to release. In letting go, you find peace. In letting go, you find clarity. In letting go, you discover the depth of your own strength, the illusion of control. Most of us go through life believing that we can control everything, the people around us, the outcomes of our efforts, even the way life unfolds. We push, we argue, we plan, we force, thinking that if we just do enough, everything will go our way. But the truth is, control is an illusion. Life is not meant to be managed like a checklist. People are not puzzles to solve. Events are not toys to manipulate. Imagine trying to hold water in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. No matter how much you try, it cannot be contained. Life works the same way. You cannot hold on to every situation, predict every choice, or bend others to your will. The harder you try to force it, the more resistance you feel, the more energy you waste, and the more your peace is disturbed. When you realize that control is an illusion, a shift begins. You stop pushing against the natural flow. You stop clinging to what should be and start observing what is. This does not mean you become passive or careless. It means that your energy is spent on what you can influence: your mind, your heart, your actions, rather than what is beyond your reach. The people around you will act in ways you cannot predict. Life will not always follow your plans. Situations will change without warning, but if you try to control them, you trap yourself in frustration and disappointment. Zen teaches that the moment you stop resisting, the moment you release your obsession with control, a deep freedom arises. You can see clearly, respond wisely, and live fully without being enslaved by circumstances. Let go of the illusion that you must steer everything. Accept that life has its own rhythm. The river does not fight the rocks or demand the water take a specific path. It flows, persistent and patient, finding the way forward without struggle. You too can flow with life, moving gracefully through challenges, adapting without anxiety, and finding strength in acceptance. When you understand this, you no longer fear what you cannot change. You no longer waste energy on people, situations, or events that are outside your control. You become a master of yourself, a calm presence in a restless world. And in this mastery, you discover a truth that many search for their whole lives. Peace is not found in bending life to your will, but in letting life flow through you without resistance. Non-attachment is freedom. Non-attachment is one of the most misunderstood ideas in life. Many hear it and think it means not caring, being indifferent, or walking away from everything that matters. But the truth is very different. Non-attachment is not about ignoring life or withdrawing from people. It is about understanding that everything, relationships, outcomes, achievements, even opinions, comes and goes. When we cling too tightly to them, we bind ourselves in invisible chains. True freedom comes from releasing that grip. Think about holding onto a rope with both hands while a strong wind is pulling you in different directions. The more you resist, the more your arms ache, the more your body strains, and the less control you actually have. But if you relax your grip, the wind still blows, yet your body moves with it, fluid and unbroken. Non-attachment is this letting go of unnecessary tension. It is the ability to experience life fully without being crushed by it. When you stop clinging to outcomes, you stop being a slave to disappointment. When you stop needing approval, recognition, or agreement from others, you stop being a prisoner to their opinions. When you let go of the idea that things must happen your way, you open space for clarity, creativity, and peace. This does not make you careless or passive. On the contrary, it allows you to act with wisdom because your actions are rooted in presence, not fear. Non-attachment also means understanding that every person's path is their own. You cannot make someone love you, understand you, or act the way you want. You cannot force events to unfold according to your plans. Trying to do so only drains you and steals your peace. But when you practice non-attachment, you can be fully present with others, fully engaged in life, without taking on the burden of controlling what is beyond your reach. Life will always bring change, loss, and uncertainty. People will leave, plans will fail, situations will shift. If you cling to them, suffering follows. If you accept them, freedom arises. Freedom to think clearly, act wisely, and remain calm in the midst of chaos. Freedom to love without expectation, to give without clinging, to live without fear. Non-attachment is the art of being fully alive without being consumed by what you cannot control. It is the path to a heart that remains unshaken no matter what happens outside. It is the quiet strength that lets you experience life's beauty, face its challenges, and move forward with grace. When you embrace non-attachment, you stop resisting reality, and you start moving with life instead of against it. And in that movement, you discover the truest sense of freedom. Peace that cannot be taken, clarity that cannot be clouded, and strength that cannot be broken. Protect your energy. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have, yet most of us give it away without realizing it. Every argument you engage in, every attempt to convince someone, every effort to control a situation drains you. It steals your focus, your calm, your clarity. Yet, we continue to spend our energy trying to change people or outcomes that are beyond our control. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is essential. It is the foundation for living fully and wisely. Think of your energy like sunlight. If you allow it to scatter in all directions, little will remain to nourish what truly matters. But when you focus it, when you protect it, it becomes powerful. It warms, it strengthens, it illuminates your path. Your calmness, your focus, and your strength are all born from energy that is respected and preserved. People and situations will always try to pull you into chaos. Someone may speak harshly, criticize unfairly, or act in ways that hurt you. Life will present challenges, disappointments, and frustrations that are completely outside your control. If you let those things take your energy, you become reactive, anxious, and exhausted. But if you guard your energy, you can remain calm, respond wisely, and act from a place of clarity rather than reaction. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of what you allow into your mind. Thoughts, conversations, and even media can take pieces of your mental and emotional energy if you let them. Zen teaches that your mind is a temple. Every thought you allow in, every influence you accept, shapes the quality of your energy. Be selective. Be conscious. Choose what nourishes your spirit, what strengthens your clarity, and what keeps your calm unbroken. When you protect your energy, you also protect your peace. Your calm becomes unshakable because it is rooted in self-respect and self-awareness. You are no longer dragged into arguments, negativity, or unnecessary drama. You learn to respond, not react. You move through life with intention rather than impulse. Protecting your energy is also about boundaries. Saying no is not cruelty. Walking away from negativity is not weakness. Choosing solitude or silence when needed is not selfishness. These are acts of preservation. When you protect your energy, you create space to think clearly, make better decisions, and act in alignment with your values. You become like a calm lake, untouched by the storms around it. The more you practice protecting your energy, the stronger and more centered you become. You begin to notice what truly deserves your attention and what does not. You begin to see that not everything is yours to fix, not every battle is yours to fight, and not every emotion is yours to carry. Your energy is sacred, and once you treat it that way, life becomes lighter, clearer, and infinitely more manageable. Lead by example, not force. The most powerful way to influence others is not through words, arguments, or attempts to control, but through your own actions. When you try to force someone to understand you, to see things your way, or to act as you wish, you create resistance, tension, and often frustration. But when you live with integrity, calmness, and purpose, your life itself becomes a quiet teacher. This is the art of leading by example. Think about a tree. It does not demand attention. It does not force anyone to sit under its shade. It simply grows, reaching toward the sun, spreading its branches, and offering fruit to those who come near. People naturally notice it. They are drawn to its strength, its beauty, and its presence. Your life can be the same. When you cultivate calm, clarity, and consistent action, people are inspired by your presence, even without words. Living by example does not mean being perfect. It does not mean never making mistakes. It means being aware of your actions, choosing wisely, and acting from a place of integrity. When others see your patience in difficult situations, your calm in the face of chaos, and your ability to remain centered while the world rushes by, they begin to learn without you ever speaking. Influence through force fades quickly, but influence through presence and example lasts a lifetime. Imagine a calm lake. The wind may blow across its surface, creating ripples, but the depth remains untouched. People and situations will try to disturb your peace, challenge your patience, or provoke your anger. If you react with force, the disturbance grows. If you remain calm, steady, and present, the impact passes without shaking the essence of who you are. Others will notice this strength, not because you demanded respect, but because you embodied it. Leading by example also means choosing actions that align with your values rather than the expectations of others. Life is full of pressures, judgments, and opinions, but when you act in alignment with your own truth, you create a magnetic presence. People may resist, misunderstand, or even reject you, but your integrity becomes unshakable. The quiet power of your example has the ability to shift hearts, change perspectives, and inspire growth far more than words ever could. This approach also frees you from unnecessary struggles. You no longer expend energy trying to convince others or manipulate outcomes. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your mind, your behavior, your responses. You act with intention, not compulsion. You become a source of calm in chaos, a beacon of clarity in confusion. When you live this way, you discover a profound truth. True influence comes not from demanding change, but from embodying it. People are inspired not by what you say, but by what you are. Your presence, your actions, and your way of being become a guide for others without ever needing to push, argue, or force them. This is the quiet mastery of life, the Zen art of leading by example. Acceptance without approval. Life will always present situations, choices, and people that we cannot fully agree with or approve of. Someone may act in ways that hurt you, disappoint you, or make no sense from your perspective. Circumstances may unfold that seem unfair or frustrating. The natural reaction is often to resist, argue, or try to change what is. But true peace comes from accepting things as they are, even when you do not approve of them. Acceptance without approval is the path to inner freedom. Acceptance does not mean you have to agree with someone, condone their behavior, or compromise your values. It does not mean becoming passive or indifferent. It simply means recognizing reality without unnecessary struggle. When you accept what is, you stop wasting energy trying to fight a reality that cannot be changed. You create space for clarity, calm, and thoughtful action. Imagine standing on the shore of a river. The water flows whether you like it or not. You cannot stop its current, nor can you control its direction. You can, however, stand calmly, observe, and move wisely within its flow. This is how acceptance works in life. You acknowledge the situation, the person, or the event exactly as it is, without adding resistance or judgment. Your energy remains yours, and your mind remains clear. Acceptance without approval also protects your peace. When you insist that others behave the way you want, or that life unfolds according to your plans, you tie yourself to frustration and suffering. You give away your power. But when you accept without approval, you separate your peace from external circumstances. You understand that other people's choices belong to them, not to you, and that the flow of life has its own rhythm. This does not mean you do nothing. Acceptance allows you to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. You can set boundaries, communicate your truth, and take action when needed, but without the heavy burden of trying to control, convince, or manipulate outcomes. You act from clarity, not from fear, anger, or frustration. When you practice acceptance without approval, you also cultivate compassion not for the purpose of agreeing, but for the purpose of understanding the nature of human experience. Everyone is navigating their own path, making choices based on their perspective, their knowledge, and their circumstances. By accepting this, you reduce the inner tension that comes from resistance, judgment, and unmet expectations. Over time, this approach transforms your experience of life. You no longer feel pulled in every direction by others' decisions. You no longer carry the weight of approval or disapproval for every situation. You move through life with steadiness, calm, and a deep sense of freedom. Acceptance without approval becomes a shield against unnecessary suffering and a key to living with balance, wisdom, and inner strength. When you embrace this truth, you realize that your peace does not depend on anyone else's actions or the way events unfold. It depends on your choice to accept reality, to let go of judgment, and to remain centered in your own heart. This is one of the deepest forms of strength you can cultivate, the quiet, unshakable power of being fully present, fully aware, and fully at peace, no matter what life brings. The mirror of others. The people around us often act as mirrors. Their words, actions, and reactions can trigger emotions, judgments, and frustrations within us. When someone frustrates you, angers you, or disappoints you, it is not always about them. Often, it reflects something unhealed or unrecognized within yourself. This is not about blame or guilt. It is about awareness. Life uses others to show us parts of ourselves that we may ignore or resist. Think of a calm pond. When a rock is thrown into it, Ripples spread across the surface. The ripples are visible, but the depth remains unchanged. Other people can create ripples in your life, but your true nature, the depth of your calm, your clarity, your inner strength remains untouched if you are aware. The mirror of others shows you where you cling, where you judge, or where you resist. By observing it, you learn about yourself without being consumed by their actions. When someone acts in ways you do not like, instead of reacting with anger, frustration, or resentment, pause and ask yourself, what is this teaching me about myself? Zen teaches that every interaction, every conflict, every disappointment is an opportunity for self-awareness. Their behavior becomes a reflection, not a burden. You begin to see that your reactions are choices, not inevitabilities. You are not controlled by their actions. You are guided by your own awareness. The mirror of others also teaches patience. People may repeat mistakes, act out of ignorance, or make choices that confuse or hurt you. Instead of trying to change them, you observe. You allow them to be themselves while maintaining your calm. You see clearly the difference between your path and theirs. You no longer invest unnecessary energy trying to fix what is not yours to fix. You respect the journey of others while remaining true to your own. This reflection can be a powerful tool for growth. When you notice your reactions, you discover your attachments, fears, and expectations. You see where you have been trying to control outcomes, hold grudges, or seek validation. Each reflection gives you a choice. Continue being pulled by external events, or respond with awareness and freedom. The more you practice observing without being consumed, the stronger and wiser you become. The mirror of others also encourages compassion. Understanding that everyone acts from their own perspective, knowledge, and experiences allows you to see their behavior without judgment. Compassion does not mean approval or agreement. It means awareness and understanding. You begin to recognize that their choices are theirs alone, just as yours are yours. By embracing this truth, you learn that life is a continuous reflection, a dialogue between your inner world and the outer world. The ripples created by others do not have to disturb your depth. You observe, you reflect, and you grow. In this awareness, you discover freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of others' actions or opinions. You are free to respond with calm, clarity, and wisdom. The mirror of others is one of life's greatest teachers. It shows you who you are, where you are attached, and where you need growth. It reminds you that control is an illusion, that peace comes from within, and that true freedom is rooted in self-awareness. When you learn to look at life through this mirror, you begin to see yourself clearly, navigate the world gracefully, and maintain an unshakable calm no matter what arises. Before you go, take a moment to feel this. Everything we explored in this video, the power of leaving others with their choices, protecting your energy, embracing non-attachment, and finding peace within these, are not just ideas, they are keys. Keys to freedom, to clarity, to a life where nothing outside can shake you. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, carry this with you. Your calm is your power. Your clarity is your guide. Your presence is your strength. The world will continue to test you. People will continue to challenge you. Situations will always try to pull you into chaos, but none of it matters if you stand rooted in yourself. Remember, the greatest victories in life are quiet. They are unseen. They are the victories of the mind, the heart, and the soul. The moment you stop trying to control, the moment you release what isn't yours, the moment you protect your energy, that is when life truly unfolds in your favor. This is your life, your peace, your journey. Walk it fully. Honor your path. Honor the lessons of today. And know this, nothing outside can touch the depth of calm you cultivate within. So, breathe, reflect, Carry this wisdom into every moment, and as you move forward, notice how life begins to flow differently. Stronger, clearer, freer. You've watched, you've listened, now live it. And remember, your power, your peace, your freedom, they have always been inside you.